Year 2028 AD. This is the 10th year after the outbreak of the zombie virus. My name is Jaxwa. I am the last surviving human in this city. I am saying goodbye to my girlfriend in front of her photo. Zombies have already climbed up. I'm looking at the peaceful face of a zombie. I picked up a weapon at random and smashed the zombie's head directly. Please subscribe by clicking here after you have seen this. But at this moment, I have no way out. I could only face the incoming zombie herd alone. The next second, I was awakened by a not very harmonious voice. I looked at the teacher on the platform. I was puzzled how I returned to the classroom. The mocking laughter of classmates around me, it seems I really didn't die. I have traveled back to high school era. It's a peaceful world before the outbreak of the zombie virus. The idea of rebirth is a mystery in human evolution history. Myself from 10 years ago was so weak. Suddenly, I saw a dark shadow behind me. Is that a zombie? I instinctively smashed the glass. I picked up the glass and was about to stab towards his throat. At a critical moment, he shouted, "Jack, what are you doing?" When I took a closer look, I realized it was my good buddy Lucas Gao. I have already forgotten at the beginning of the outbreak of the zombie virus. This good buddy is dead. Immediately, I made up my mind for this life. I want to let him survive. I forgot that today is Valentine's Day. The apocalypse will start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the me from that year. Still doing stupid things to confess to school cheerleader Cherry Duan. This selfish and self-interested woman killed many people in the apocalypse, including Lucas Gao. When I think about this, Cherry Duan, holding my love letter, said I was disgusting in front of a group of classmates as if showing off. Thought of the experiences from my previous life. I immediately grabbed back the love letter and said, "Seeing you also disgusts me." At 2 p.m. this afternoon, a meteorite fell into the Earth's atmosphere. It exploded into countless fragments, falling all over the globe. The virus carried by the meteorite spread instantaneously. Those initially infected by the virus all fell into a coma. Over 70% of the human population mutated into monsters. Others who woke up resisted fiercely. Among the uninfected, some evolved various abilities. However, zombies also evolved. In the end, our home turned into hell. At this moment, Lucas Gao feels that I am very different from usual. I told her in front of the school cheerleader that she was disgusting again and mentioned something about the end of the world. He asked me, "Are you writing a novel?" I don't want to explain too much either because the truth will surface eventually. So I threw the wallet to him. Ask him and his parents to buy more high-calorie supplements. I hope he can listen to me. And my parents died in a car accident when I was a child. The school I am in is located in a remote area and is a boarding school. Daily necessities are relatively complete. In the apocalypse, although there were heavy casualties within the school, it is much stronger than the outside world. There is a clothes factory next to the school, so it is easy to find weapons. This gives me a distinct advantage in the early stages of the apocalypse. Because it is a boarding school, the reserves of daily necessities are relatively complete. Luckily, I found a crowbar. This weapon is much more useful than the one I used in my previous life when I died. Early zombie movements are relatively slow. Just keep a good distance and you'll be fine. At this time, Cherry Duan appeared with a group of sidekicks. It's because I said she was disgusting. So she tracked down Lucas Gao to find me. Cherry Duan's boyfriend is the sports committee member in the class. Immediately, he walked forward wanting to teach me a lesson. At this moment, I am no longer as weak as in the previous life. Picking up a pry bar, I struck him on the head. Although I didn't really smash it down, I scared him so much that he collapsed on the ground. A meteorite appeared in the sky. It can be seen clearly all over the world. People all thought it was on Valentine's Day. A gift bestowed upon the earth by God. People also make wishes, and take photos of the meteorite. Before falling, the meteorite exploded into countless fragments, scattered around the world. My name is Jaxwa. Cherry Duan, who was scared away by me a few minutes ago, is now complaining about her boyfriend. Failed to get things done, and got scared into a cold sweat. What a coward. The next moment, she saw a meteor streaking across the sky. Without faith, she still wonders how there can be shooting stars during the day. I watched the falling meteorite and thought to myself, the apocalypse has arrived. Beside me, Lucas Gao is muttering. He's thinking of skipping class to hide here. He might as well go to the internet cafe. The next second, a massive tremor runs through the ground. The apocalypse has begun. Due to the virus that has spread into the air, everyone is about to fall into a coma lasting for up to 20 hours. During my slumber, I dreamt of a familiar figure. Weren't you supposed to evacuate with the main force? When she turned around, it was already a familiar face. I immediately woke up and called out her name, Abby. Only then did I realize that it was just a dream. At this moment, Lucas Gao shouted, "Oh no, it's already 10 in the morning. I'm in trouble for not returning to my room at night and skipping class. I'll be punished." I said, "Don't worry, there won't be any punishment anymore." When he was still wondering why I had been acting strange since yesterday. The door slowly opened. Then a ghostly sound came from outside the door. We then saw a figure with light shining on their back standing there. Lucas Gao thought it was the teacher on duty. He was ready to start explaining to the teacher the reason for his absence. Before he approached, I disappeared on the spot. I raised my hand and struck the person down with a stick. He was so scared that he screamed. He said even if he's afraid of punishment, there's no need to kill anyone. I replied slowly, "The first rule in the survival guide is to never hesitate when encountering a zombie. Follow me with the backpack on your back. You will soon see that this world has changed." At this moment, he looked around at the monsters biting people everywhere. Incredibly stunned. At the same time, a zombie also noticed us. I immediately took it down. This is not the time to be stunned. Lucas Gao tried to avoid it as much as possible. Absolutely cannot be bitten. Fortunately, I had the experience of a previous life. In this apocalypse, I am like a war god. Just as we were about to leave the school, Cherry Duan and her boyfriend came charging towards us. Close behind them are their brothers Cherry and David. But by now, they have also turned into zombies. When they are about to catch up, Cherry Duan's boyfriend turned around to block the zombies, in order to let Cherry Duan escape. I didn't intend to step on these two people. Perhaps it is fate. Cherry Duan was tripped by a stone. Immediately, a zombie pounced towards her, ready to attack. This woman is particularly bitchy. Faced with sacrificing herself to save her boyfriend, she showed not a hint of regret upon learning that he might turn into a zombie. Just now, Cherry Duan was tripped over by a rock. The moment when the zombie was about to pounce and start eating. I still can't bear to watch my classmates die in front of me. Then he chopped off the zombie's head. Cherry Duan thought I would say something to her. She put on a pitiful look and called my name, Jaxwa. I certainly won't pay attention to this kind of woman. Call Lucas Gao to follow me. Cherry Duan looks at the zombie in front and needs to follow us as well. Go back to the classroom. At this moment, the four of us are temporarily safe. It's just the body I had 10 years ago. I am already exhausted from the fierce battle just now. Resting here now to recover strength. It is wise to find an opportunity to leave the school. Cherry Duan, who can be scared by the scene of the apocalypse, keeps crying and making noise there. I am very annoyed. I shout out angrily. Cherry Duan, shut up. This also aroused the anger of her boyfriend. He came up and started scolding me. But I noticed that there was blood flowing from his hand. He said, "It's just a minor bite from David. After the meteorite fell, there is a 70% chance that the virus will turn people into zombies through the air and water transmission. But if bitten by a zombie, it's a 100% chance of becoming a corpse. This type of virus is called the Ebola virus. Cherry Duan's boyfriend doesn't believe it. But at this point, Cherry Duan is already far away. Meanwhile, Cherry Duan's boyfriend also showed signs of turning into a zombie. He walked towards Cherry Duan as if seeking solace. Cherry Duan said, "Go away, stay far away from me." The woman immediately changed her tune and refused to recognize him. He was clearly injured while trying to protect her. At this moment, there was also a deafening loud noise coming from outside. We looked outside to find out. It turned out to be the principal driving a car trying to escape. But the car went out of control and crashed into the wall. This is an opportunity for us to leave. Now it's time to deal with Cherry Duan's boyfriend issue. As long as the two of them don't follow us, it's fine. Later I will also call Lucas Gao to go with us. It's just that Cherry Duan also wants to come along. She was caught by Cherry Duan's boyfriend. She immediately shook off his hand. Cherry Duan's boyfriend wanted to say something else. But what greeted him was a knife wielded by Cherry Duan. He heard the words that left him stunned. "You can die on your own. Don't hold me back from escaping." The whole classroom fell silent. Only the silent figure of Cherry Duan's boyfriend was left standing. I and Lucas Gao rushed out of the classroom. Although the principal's office attracted a large number of zombies, but there were still a few scattered zombies along the way. I said to Lucas Gao while slashing, cutting off their heads or destroying their spines can take care of them. Just don't be soft-hearted. One of the zombies also reached out to Lucas Gao. He could only brace himself and go forward. The next second, he took the first step towards surviving the apocalypse. He was panting heavily. It is fortunate that there is someone to guide him on how to survive when the apocalypse comes. At that moment, Cherry Duan's annoying voice was heard. She abandoned her boyfriend and followed along. Immediately, I bluntly questioned, "How did you manage to follow us again?" At this moment, she could only stick out her large chest to seduce us. Lucas Gao softened again and persuaded me. Help her out, after all, she is a classmate. I agreed under Lucas Gao's persuasion. But I made 3 rules with her. If she follows along, she must listen to our commands. Would your team welcome this woman in the apocalypse? 1 second the team was trying their best to move forward. The next second, she was sowing discord among the team's relationships. At this moment, the 3 of us have already reached the school gate. But there is a large group of zombies at the gate. It's too dangerous to force our way through. I immediately decided to have one person go and turn on the radio. Then the zombies will move towards the sound. Only by doing this can we have a chance to escape. Lucas Gao is very worried about me being alone. I told him not to worry. The zombies in the early stages of the apocalypse posed no threat to me. Lucas Gao and Cherry Duan were left behind. This was because Cherry Duan had just lost her boyfriend. She has started looking for a new man again. Just now, Cherry Duan was scolded by me. She is harboring resentment now. Then she came up with twisted thoughts of ruining the relationship between me and Lucas Gao. The next moment, she pressed her large chest against Lucas Gao's chest. Lucas Gao's face turned red. He heard Cherry Duan speak ill of me. Jack Zhua is so scary, full of threats and violence. Lucas, you are a good person, be careful of Jack Zhua. Lucas Gao, who was touching Cherry Duan's chest, replied, I am a good person, but not foolish. Don't speak ill of Jack while he is fighting for us. The corridor is full of zombies. I threw an empty can to distract them. Arrived at the broadcasting room. And as I was thinking about which key is used to start the broadcast, a zombie suddenly appeared behind me. Caught off guard, I was pushed down onto the table. This zombie is very strong. It should be semi-evolved. I didn't expect it to evolve so quickly. I don't have virus resistance. I can't let it bite me. At a critical moment, I found a stick beside me. I picked it up and stabbed towards the zombie's head. I was breathing heavily at this moment. I didn't expect there to be a zombie in the broadcasting room. If it weren't for the stick, I would have been done for. But how did the stick get here? Looking around, I found a photo. This zombie should have been a sweet-voiced senior female student at the broadcasting station before turning into a zombie. In my mind, I could see an image of her knitting a sweater for her loved one on Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, this world has changed. Not long after, loud music started playing on the playground, attracting the zombies to climb up eagerly one after another. Lucas Gao saw that I succeeded on my end. Brought Cherry Duan to the front gate. The locked gate was also broken open by him with a fire axe, just waiting for me to come out. At this moment, a school bus came head-on. Cherry Duan wanted to walk with Lucas Gao, but Lucas Gao refused. He was determined to wait for me. School director urged repeatedly, and Cherry Duan ran towards the school bus alone and began to sow discord. She told the school director that she saw Jaxwa committing murder, and she wants to lock the school gate to prevent the monster from running out. She also said, "Don't let everyone suffer because of that crazy Jaxwa." The school director also agreed with this suggestion. Lucas Gao was also angry. He said, "Cherry Duan, you are indeed a two-faced and ungrateful person. My name is Jaxwa. In an apocalypse, would you choose to act with the majority of people or with a small team?" At that moment, Cherry Duan and the school director were shocked by Lucas Gao's determination. The classmates in the car looked over to see. The school director could only say, "You will have your credits deducted and receive a severe reprimand." The school bus then rumbled away. Lucas Gao thought the matter was ending. A hand reached out from behind, grabbed Lucas Gao with tremendous force. It was a female zombie. But at this moment, Lucas Gao was already pinned under her. He could only struggle to resist her wide-open mouth with a fire axe. Just as Lucas Gao was about to exhaust his strength, the female zombie's head was chopped off. Lucas Gao only saw me slowly appear in front of him. I am also grateful that if I had arrived one step later, it would have been a final farewell. On our way to find a safe spot, we found out that the school bus was heading to the city. Driving such a big vehicle into the city during the apocalypse, it's like asking for death. And this car wasn't reborn before the apocalypse. A classmate who concealed his injuries suddenly turned into a zombie. It also caused a car accident at that time. We rushed out of the car in a panic. The commotion from the car accident attracted many people turning into zombies. We could only run for our lives at that time. In the end, Lucas Gao got a leg injury and ran slowly. Was locked outside by Cherry Duan. Lucas Gao knew he couldn't run with his leg and told me to escape on my own first. At that moment, the cowardly me just left my friend and ran away on my own. When I came to my senses, Lucas Gao was handing me a piece of bread. Looking at him now, it seems like God did not want me to have any regrets. Not long after, we arrived at the auto repair shop run by Lucas Gao's relatives. It seems like there are no living people in this area. After going in, I called Lucas Gao to lock the doors and windows. Then I carefully checked the inside of the house and rummaged through it. I asked Lucas Gao about his plans after that. He wants to go back to City G to look for his parents. I will go with you. But we need to go to the city area to find someone before we go. Lucas Gao jokingly asked if it was a girlfriend. You have a girlfriend now. When did this happen? I laughed. Lucas Gao, you really are an optimist. After nightfall, zombies are wandering the streets, randomly banging on the doors of different houses. As long as they don't have a clear target, the doors cannot be knocked down. Next, it was time for me to pass on the experiences from my previous life to Lucas Gao. I mentioned that in reality, We are just like those monsters. We have all been infected by a virus, and this virus triggers genetic mutations. The vast majority of people experience genetic breakdown during the mutation process and become monsters. But a few people can resist this mutation. They can even control it. By controlling the evolved, our physical fitness can be greatly improved. It can even evolve virus resistance. Now I will teach you breathing training. Can speed up evolved? We need to at least evolve resistance to viruses first. Follow the breathing rhythm. Calm your mind and feel your whole body. If there is a tingling sensation in the body, it is caused by latent viruses. You need to control them. Viruses will gradually gather in a certain part of your body. The gathering place represents the direction of your future evolution. Similar to before being reborn. The place I evolved is the palm of my hand. After gathering, viruses will form patterns on the palm. So, as an evolver like me, the palm lines belong to the balance evolve. Strengthening the body's qualities is very even. So, every aspect is moderate. In simple terms, it means loser. But there's nothing wrong with that. Because this time, I have an absolute advantage. Being held tightly by your brother while sleeping. How do you feel when you wake up? My name is Jaxwa. I am currently in the city center. In front of me is my previous life girlfriend desperately running, while I am behind her being chased by countless zombies. Abby twisted her foot while running. We are looking at the zombie herd that is about to catch up. I immediately picked her up to continue running. In life and death, she told me not to worry about her. You can definitely make it out on your own. Don't talk nonsense. I will take you to survive. I will make it happen. Misfortunes never come singly. The bridge we were on unexpectedly broke. The zombies behind us are about to catch up. I had no choice but to jump over. But the distance was still a little short. I thought we were about to fall together. Abby behind me pushed with all her might, pushing me to the other side. And she fell down as well. I cried out her name in powerlessness. I suddenly woke up. It turns out it was all just a dream. I felt like I was being pressed down by something. Looking down, it was Lucas Gao. He was still drooling. I exclaimed in surprise. What are you doing? From now on, you are not allowed to sleep in the same room as me. I will head to the city center as soon as it's light out. Lucas Gao is very worried. But that person is too important to me. I didn't see any zombies outside. It's time to set off. Before I leave, I ask Lucas Gao to be careful on his own. Don't let anyone in. Remember, it's anyone. After Lucas Gao found out, my motorcycle roared out. I didn't tell Lucas Gao. The one I went to find was my lover Abby from my previous life. She is the most important person in my life. But at this moment, she and I are just two strangers. Found a convenience store in the city center. I sighed that it had been 10 years. I couldn't even remember the way to find her. Just then, a can caught my attention. Following that were two zombies. I pulled out a pry bar and swung it around wildly. I easily killed the two zombies. Just then, there came a cry. Are there still survivors here? I followed the direction of the sound and saw 6 zombies surrounding a car. Inside the car, a mother and her daughter were being attacked by the zombies. The next second, the car window was broken. Luckily, the zombie was stuck by the car door. Just then, I grabbed the zombie that was about to bite the mother and daughter. I casually threw the zombie against the wall. Accelerated evolution through breathing training. The zombie was heavily embedded in the wall. I then killed one with a stick. Then I kicked it, and another one flying with one kick. Finding the police during an apocalypse would be useful. Then we won't need a protagonist. How long would you survive if you were the protagonist? My name is Jaxwa. Just now, I rescued 2 people who were surrounded by zombies. When I kicked the zombie away, I clearly felt that both my strength and responsiveness had improved. Awakened to be a step ahead. Even the balance evolver is extremely dominant in the early stages of the apocalypse. Deal with the remaining zombies. I told the two people that it's not safe here. We must leave immediately. Because I know what's going on here. It's definitely going to attract the attention of the zombies. I said there is a supermarket ahead, let's hide there. The two of them could only leave with worry and reluctance. The evolved tattoo began to take shape. The basic ability of balance evolver gradually appeared. At the same time, the sensing ability has also improved. I am pouring gasoline onto the car. I also feel the zombie coming. The two people waiting for me at the supermarket are worried because I haven't returned for a long time. They are worried that there might be danger on my side. They came to check on me while carrying a kitchen knife. The danger is not me but the zombies. They saw me casually throwing a cigarette at the car. The next second, there was a loud bang. Under their terrified eyes, the zombies died collectively. I, however, was curious. Didn't I ask you to hide in the supermarket? After returning to the supermarket, I asked the girl if she was your mother. The girl replied, "No, she is my older sister." Jaxwa felt that the girl's older sister looked a bit too mature. At the same time as I returned the found teddy bear to the girl, the girl expressed her desire for me to become her sister-in-law. Her sister happens to not have a boyfriend. I blushed and said, "Children, don't talk nonsense." As we eat and drink in the supermarket, the older sister, filled with guilt, said, "This belongs to theft." I said, "Just put it back. Anyway, if you don't take it, someone else will." Then older sister revealed some news that caught my attention. She is a teacher at Star Female School. I quickly asked her if she knew Abby. She sadly told me that she is Abby's school director. The school had regular classes yesterday. She might still be at the school. Don't worry. Abby is very smart and will be fine. Then she kissed me as a gesture of thanks and goodbye. The girl who was listening nearby was not happy, insisted on following me. Seeing the little girl crying nonstop, my heart softened and I agreed. But I am riding a motorcycle. It's not convenient for 3 people. We need to find a car first. I casually found a car on the road and was about to unlock it. I was stopped by my older sister. She said, "This kind of behavior is considered stealing a car, which is very wrong. If you want to find Abby, it would be better to go to the police station. It's too dangerous in school." Ironically, a fully armed police zombie walked towards us at this moment. I asked her, "Is the police officer you mentioned him?" I also asked the teacher, "May I ask for your surname?" I found out that this innocent teacher's surname is Luo. Teacher Luo, the world has already moved beyond your imagination. For a handgun, I accidentally triggered the car's anti-theft device. Surrounded by a group of zombies. My name is Jaxwa. I just killed an armed zombie. I am changing into its gear. Luck is on my side. The gear on this zombie is quite complete. It's a pity there is no gun. This tactical suit and stab-proof gloves. Ordinary zombies can't bite through it. Gave the baton to Teacher Luo. Tell her that now the police, hospitals, and fire departments no longer exist. To survive, you can only rely on yourself. I will let them go to find Lucas Gao. Before leaving, let's exchange names. Older sister is named Sherry Luo. Younger sister is named Carrie Luo. Just on the car, Carrie Luo said, "Wait until Big Brother finds his sweetheart. Otherwise, older sister, you might not have a chance." "I know, but I can't do that. I've arrived near the school. At this moment, the road. There's no space left at all because it's already jammed with cars. Can only give up the motorcycle and continue on foot." I maneuvered forward in the crowd of cars by leaning sideways. Suddenly saw a police car. Maybe there is a gun on the police car. As I got closer, I saw a body lying inside. I also saw a handgun placed next to the body. Great! Before I could even finish being excited, the body in the car growled at me. It seems like he has turned into a zombie too. Immediately I smashed the car window and tried to create some distance, but then I remembered. The cars here are too tightly packed. There's no way to create distance. The next second, a zombie pounced towards me. I dodged it by quickly moving aside. It also crashed into the car next to it. A piercing alarm sounded immediately. This place is no place for battling a horde of monsters. I don't have time to think. I'll take him down first and get the gun later. In Class 4 of Star Female School, Grade 1. At this moment, there are 3 students hiding here. They saw me kill a zombie at the intersection. They wanted to hang out the window curtains so that I could see and come to rescue them. But the leader, Kelly, said, "Let's wait and see. We don't know if he is a good person or a bad person. Moreover, there are many monsters closing in on him. It's uncertain if he can survive." And now, I have climbed onto a bus. Counting the weapons just seized. 10 handguns. 2 silencers. 35 bullets. In the apocalypse, this amount is simply not enough. Unless absolutely necessary, I will try to be more conservative with them. At this moment, a zombie has already climbed up. And the next second, I gave it a heavy blow. What followed were more zombies. In order to find his girlfriend Abby from a previous life, I arrived at Star Female School. Was surrounded by a group of zombies. After a series of intense battles, I was already exhausted. There is one last one in front of me. At this moment, it also lunged towards me. I fought back with a crowbar in difficulty. You trash that hasn't even completed evolution, even want to eat me? In the end, because I was exhausted, I could only waste a bullet. At this point, I had no strength left. I collapsed to the ground powerless. Although tired, I feel the opportunity to push past my limits. The next second, I sat cross-legged and started practicing right in place. This time, the feeling is even clearer. Gradually control the evolved cells of Ebola. Converge towards the starting point. After the completion of the first phrase, these evolved tattoos that converge together will form a complete evolved tattoo. Physical fitness will be greatly enhanced. Following that is the balancing evolve awaken. After awakening, the sensation of the crowbar also feels lighter. Right now, the strength is probably twice that of an ordinary person. Currently, the most important aspects are healing ability, virus resistance, and sensing ability. Now I can sense things within a range of 5 meters at any time, and in an ultra-sensing state. Can sense things up to about 20 meters away. I cannot move when in ultra-sensing state. But she is far inferior to Abby of the spiritual evolver. Back then, her sensing range was a whole kilometer. Is Abby in school? I'm sensing the movement inside the school wall. Only sense 2 zombies. The sensing range is still not enough. There should be more than just these 2 on the square. Throw out the water bottle in hand casually. Stand on the wall and observe. Sure enough, there are a total of 5 zombies. Head towards the sound. These 5 are a piece of cake for me now. Just testing out the evolved abilities. Jump down. Gave them a kick. I feel that my reflexes and coordination have increased by at least 30%. The high difficulty actions in movies. I can easily complete them. Now this first phrase zombie doesn't threaten me anymore. Just at this moment, 3 female students have been hiding here in the classroom for a long time. There are no resources left. They decided to go out and look for food. Kelly will go to class 3 and instruct the other 2 girls to go to class 2. Kelly searched for a long time. The things she found were just some adult magazines. If it's you in front of the screen, would you look at them in this situation? Her little pet hamster also jumped out and desperately shouted, "I want to see! I want to see!" Just when she was disappointed, she found a bottle of water. Before she could get happy, the corridor was filled with the screams of the second girl. When she rushed out, she found that it was already too late. The scene that caught her eye left her shocked. She saw a zombie biting a girl. There was also a body that had been bitten by it. The zombie saw Kelly, who came to be its food. Without saying a word, it pounced over. Kelly was so scared that she ran away. As for me, because the screams of the two girls just now attracted a group of zombies, I decided to use a gun. I don't want to get hurt here. After a round of gunshots, I killed off the zombie herd. However, I found an evolving zombie. I didn't expect them to start evolving after just 2 days. I have 25 bullets left. I loaded while walking and arrived in front of a classroom. I found 2 zombies constantly banging on the door. It seems like there are survivors inside the classroom. I plan to sense the situation first. I found that the surrounding environment is temporarily safe. The surrounding environment is temporarily safe. There should be a girl in the room. In that case, I will save some bullets. Kelly in the classroom is frightened. Whispering a prayer, Kelly hopes that the zombies won't come in. Then she realizes that there is no sound outside. He also heard my voice. Open the door, I am human. The next second, she felt like she saw the savior. Ask me if there is any food. She's starving. Watching Kelly devour the food eagerly. I also asked her if she knew Abby. Abby is the school cheerleader in the girls' high school department. Of course I know her. Just then, some people were running outside the school while others were hiding. I wasn't sure which group Abby was in. If Abby was still at school, she must have hidden. Just as Kelly lowered her head, I saw the pendant on her neck. I panicked and asked, "Where did you get this pendant from?" Kelly said, "Let go, this is mine." Seeing that I still refused to let go, she also became a little agitated. After all, she couldn't stop me from doing anything to her. I'm just not interested in Kelly. May I ask if your father is named Hans Luo? Kelly asked if you know my dad. I said yes, he is my friend. Come with me, I'll take you to find your dad. Kelly said, I don't want to see him, but if you have food, I'll follow you. As long as I won't starve. This young girl is really practical. At this moment, I also remembered my previous life. Hans Luo and I were comrades in the same camp. Hans Luo was also known as the camp's top warrior. During a mission, we passed by an abandoned factory. Encountered a claw-type zombie. This mission is bound to be tough. Although Hans is exceptionally strong. But this zombie is quite resistant to attacks. At that time, I was just a rookie. Even with crazy attacks, I couldn't hurt the zombie at all. I just made it angry. Hans saved me at the critical moment. He is covered all over by evolved tattoos. He entrusted me with this precious breathing training. However, there has always been a regret in his heart. Hans has a daughter named Kelly Luo. His wife passed away early. He wasn't able to take care of his daughter properly when the apocalypse came. That's the girl in front of me right now. Practice well tonight. We will set off again tomorrow. It's great that Evolved Tattoo has started gathering. Although it's not many, it's already good that she did the breathing training for the first time. Before being reborn, Hans and I paid a great price to acquire this set of breathing training. He only taught it to me. After I was reborn, I passed it on to his daughter. Please note that some strange sounds are coming from the power room in the school at this time. A zombie is evolving. It is emitting a thick red mist around it. Muscles bulged with blue veins. Its blood seemed to be boiling like hot water. The next second, the zombie transformed into a futuristic warrior. My name is Jaxwa. In the classroom, I am handing the only handgun to Kelly. I asked if she knows how to use it. She said she should know because her dad taught her before. I said, remember, never put the safety on at any time. Because you never know where danger might come from. You adapted quite quickly, she said. Maybe it's because she has seen too many people die, I said. You should stay here to practice breathing training as long as you don't make too much noise. There won't be any danger, Kelly said. Is practicing this breathing training by taking down so many zombies on your own? I said. You saw it all, Kelly said. Wow, very powerful. I also want to be as powerful as you, I told her. Then you can practice here with peace of mind. The school power room is on the upper floor, she said. Behind the storage room in the basement. It's very dark there. It's best to bring a flashlight. After leaving the classroom, I had a bad feeling rushing into my heart. But to confirm if there are still people alive in the school, the most direct method is to use the broadcasting system. There are hidden crises everywhere in the teaching building. I used the rope from the police car to come down from the window to the ground. The feeling of danger became even stronger. Have the zombies evolved? No matter what's there, I must go. Standing on the ground floor, I activated sense mode. No zombies. Could it be that I'm mistaken? Opened the door to the basement. Only then did I realize it wasn't my sensing ability that was faulty. It's just that this place is too big. I cautiously moved forward. Little did I know, in the darkness not far away, a pair of bloody red eyes were watching me. Before long, I found the power supply room. After pushing the door open, I saw a zombie. There was actually a zombie. Wasted another bullet. At the same time, I felt a murderous intent coming from behind me. Not good. The second phrase is zombie. Thanks to me being evolved as well. I dodged its attack coming towards me. The bones of the zombie, especially the skull, are very hard. I really hate that I didn't bring a handy automatic rifle. I use a pry bar to strike down. Like giving it a massage. Let's go to a more open place first. After coming out, I immediately rush upstairs. It just didn't plan to chase me with its legs. It jumped directly from downstairs to attack me. After dodging, I struck it with a stick on its chin. It dropped heavily to the ground as well. But it did not die. It seems that this second phrase zombie is not my opponent. It started calling for reinforcements. Countless zombies gathered towards the basement. Then I'll take you up first. The next second, I gave him a blow to the head. The place where his head was hit was already full of scars. His body was also trembling. But he could still slowly get up. I am very angry. Why aren't you dead? At the same time, the footsteps of other zombies were heard. At this moment, the zombie from the second phrase also climbed up. At this rate, I will only end up being surrounded. Let's go back to the teaching building first. Use the terrain to engage with them. Go back to the building. I sense the zombie around here. Only 3 zombies are following. Looks like this guy hasn't evolved completely yet. Generally, the second phrase zombie can summon 10 first phrase zombies as minions in a short period of time. It seems like an opportunity to end the battle. I charge out from the darkness. Raised my hand and shot the zombie. The small caliber pistol didn't do much damage to him, but the bullet can impact his brain, slowing down his movement. In his daze, I easily dealt with 3 more zombies. Look at these slow-moving zombies. Your turn. Go die. The scariest thing about zombies is their sneak attacks and calling for their companions. In a one-on-one situation, they are just a target that can take a beating. Next, just need to go back to the basement and turn on the power. However, the first floor is now filled with first phrases zombies. The recent sound probably attracted all the zombies in the school to the first floor. I look around in all directions. I see the medical room not far away. I grin and bring over a box of medical alcohol. This should be enough. The next second, the alcohol bottles fell down like raindrops. The zombies also gathered towards the sound. Go to die. With the sound of explosions. Countless zombies bathing in the sea of fire. And Kelly Luo's exclamation. I also turned on the power. My name is Jaxwa. After turning on the power, I can't wait to get to the broadcasting room. With an uneasy heart. For my first broadcast in my life. I cleared my throat. Abby, I'm here to save you. If you are still at school after daybreak, find me at the school gate. I will be waiting there for you. It may seem strange to you. We are strangers, but I hope you can trust me. Then I left the broadcast room, praying in my heart that you were still there. When I returned to the classroom, Kelly Luo was looking at me with a wicked smile on her face. I listened to the broadcast. So Abby doesn't know you at all. I see, you actually have a crush on her. That must be it. I tapped her and then talked to her. Take a rest now while you can. We'll set off once it's light out. She could only hold back her tears and nodded. Okay. When the time comes, it will be daybreak. Kelly Luo noticed two people standing at the school gate. Seeing the familiar figure, it was Abby. I immediately ran towards the gate. I arrived in front of the two people. Excitedly, I called out Abby. Finally seeing you again. That's great. When I turned around, I saw two beautiful and sexy women. Then I immediately calmed down. He asked, Do you know where Abby is? The two extraordinary women spoke in unison, saying they did not know. It seems they are seeking support. I want to play the role of a playboy too. The next second, the expression of the pink-haired girl changed. The hamster on Kelly Luo's shoulder also showed protest. You were bitten. When did it happen? Why didn't I know about it? Two eccentric women then started to fight as well. I immediately drew my gun and said, Looking at the wound, it has been about 20 minutes. I estimate that within an hour, he will turn into a zombie. At this moment, the black-haired girl pushed down the pink-haired girl and asked me to take her with us. The pink-haired girl then yelled, You are such a B***TCH. I even gave you water to drink before. The black-haired girl also replied, Go die yourself. Why are you holding on to me so tightly? You monster. The pink-haired girl froze at this moment. Monster. You called me a monster. The next second, she bit down on the black-haired girl's shoulder. I'm a monster. Now you have also been bitten by me. I am not going to live. And neither are you. Ha ha ha. At the same time, pink-haired girl also started to turn into a zombie. Since Abby is not at school. Looking at these two people, I don't want to get involved anymore. Return to where I parked my motorcycle. The motorcycle is gone. I can only continue on foot. I also asked about Kelly Luo's pet hamster. It's very special. Since something seems to have evolved. Just then, I heard gunshots. Many gunshots. Kelly Luo said that direction should be the police station. Let's go find the police. With their protection, we'll be safe. But I don't know if there are still police officers at the police station at this time. We arrived at the small path next to the police station. What we saw was a zombie herd attack, evacuating to protect the public. The remaining police officers are all fighting desperately to resist. They have been forced to retreat and regroup. Kelly Luo saw the scene and said to me, Aren't we going to help them? There is no absolute safe place in this world anymore. We can only rely on ourselves. It's like a suicide to go back now. Let's go upstairs first. I sensed something on the upper floor. There are 4 zombies. Just as I was dealing with 3 of them. The last zombie sneak attacked Kelly Luo from behind. This zombie is aiming to take Kelly Luo's life. Kelly Luo was so scared that her face turned pale. My name is Jaxwa. At this moment, I am fighting against 3 other zombies. Kelly Luo had no idea what was going on and curiously walked towards the battlefield. When I found out, The zombies were already behind Kelly Luo. I immediately wanted to go rescue her, but I was entangled by the zombies in front of me. I'm anxious at the moment. I raised my hand and slapped the zombie away. I grabbed its head and forcefully twisted it. It was this delay that caused us to miss the opportunity to rescue her. I shouted loudly, "Shoot!" while watching Kelly Luo trembling with fear. Right at the moment when the zombie pounced, Kelly Luo closed her eyes and fired a shot. Fortunately, she hit the zombie in the head. The consequences would be unimaginable otherwise. I comfortingly reached out my hand to her. Tell her to always observe her surroundings before entering the battlefield. Congratulations. You killed a zombie. In the building, we chose a room that has a view of the police station. This level of gunfight will attract zombies from several kilometers away. Although the police are armed, this city has at least millions of zombies. About a dozen people. Dozens of guns. It's simply not enough. Helping in the past was just sending them to their deaths. The only thing to do now is wait. Wait for them all to leave before going to the police station to look for weapons. At this moment, someone is shouting loudly in front of the police station. Can't afford to wait any longer, take advantage of the fact that they haven't completely surrounded us yet. Let's withdraw quickly. Get ready for when we need to make our move. Later, I searched the room thoroughly. I found some medicine, a knife, and the keys to the car downstairs. Tell Kelly Luo to hold the knife in hand. Put the rest in the bag. This is the last magazine, keep it as a spare. Bullets are scarce. Save them whenever possible. Then she smirked and stabbed me with a knife. Intense fights can enhance physical evolution. Kelly's combat skills have improved significantly. Kelly then talked about the evolved zombie. I told him that generally, out of 100 zombies, one will evolve into a second phase zombie. The second phase zombies have increased power and speed, but are still within the limits of human capabilities. What's deadly about them is that they have learned to ambush and call for reinforcements. It's best to deal with them using heavy firepower weapons. As for those above the second phase, they are not something we can handle now. The evolution from first phase to second phase takes 1 week to a month. The zombie I encountered in the basement should be considered a special case. Moreover, its evolution is not complete. At this time, the police drove police cars to lure away all the zombies. We drove to the police station. There might still be zombies inside. I asked Kelly Luo to stay close to me. Little did we know, our actions were completely exposed to a group of people. The next second, their villain's leader decided to follow us into the police station to find guns. And they planned to take Kelly away. My name is Jaxwa. At this moment, Kelly Luo and I entered the police station together, prepared to search around. Looking at the police station, there should be no living persons left. Let's find the warehouse first. I then divided and acted separately with Kelly. Kelly is responsible for the first floor. I am responsible for the second floor. I sense the situation around me. There are no zombies around. I also found where the warehouse is located. I used my foot to push open the locked room. Discovered that there are all good things. I opened the lid of the box. I found that these are not police equipment. It seems to be some controlled items that have not been processed yet. I can make a fortune from this. In the future, scavenging will be my lifelong career. On the other hand, Kelly on the first floor is feeling depressed. All she found was police equipment, police uniforms, bulletproof vests, batons, and helmets. Such large sizes. Not a single one is suitable for her. Meanwhile, sounds are coming from outside. Thinking it was me, she happily opened the door. She then saw 4 strangers approaching. The villain's leader instructed, "Beta and Gamma go to the second floor, and I and Delta will go check the front." Saw such people in the apocalypse. Kelly could only hide and peek through the crack of the door. She heard the villain's leader say, "Keep your voice down. Don't let those two discover us. Clearly, the gang already knew they were in the police station. The next moment, the room where Kelly was hiding was violently pushed open. She locked eyes with the villain's leader. Kelly was both startled and scared at this moment. The backpack I have here is already full from the looting. He thought about finding Kelly to take her backpack and continue looting. There was a knocking sound outside the door. No, it's the sound of footsteps. At this moment, they are chatting. Will that kid be easy to deal with using a crowbar? Beta responded. What's there to be afraid of? Villain's leader is the city's kickboxing champion. There are few here who can beat him. What if he has a gun? We have 4 people, and he doesn't know where we are. I'll sneak up on him from behind with a stick when the time comes. Before he finished speaking, I appeared behind him, took down 2 people, and thought to myself that there should be more than just 2 people. Just as they mentioned, Villain's leader must have also arrived. Kelly Lou is in danger. Sometimes people in the apocalypse are scarier than zombies. I'm so nervous that my hands are shaking even when holding a gun. Go back to Kelly's side. At this moment, she is pointing a gun at 2 people in a standoff. The leader of the villains is still talking to Kelly. He said, If you're tired of holding the gun, just put it down. We mean no harm and just want to talk to you. Of course, Kelly knew they were not so kind-hearted. She replied, There's nothing to talk about. You can just leave. Kelly remained so stubborn. The 2 of them also started to slowly move closer. The next second, Kelly pulled the trigger. With a click, Kelly froze in place. Immediately, he was caught by the villain's leader. He said, Let me educate you with some common knowledge. Before firing a gun, you should first engage the safety. Kelly was both surprised and angry. With a cold face, Kelly slowly said, This man tried to make a move on Kelly. Kelly kicked him right in the legs. His expression vividly displayed the man's extreme pain. The next second, Kelly was caught by Delta. And Delta was threatened at gunpoint. Move again, and you will be shot. At this moment, the sound of a hamster came from the direction of the door. It was the hamster that sensed Kelly was in danger and came over. Delta saw that it was just a hamster and didn't pay much attention. Then, the hamster made extremely agile movements. Crawled into his pants. Then Kelly's hamster revealed sharp teeth and bit Delta's arm at the same time. Delta felt pain and could only release Kelly. Go into the clothes and find that damn hamster. Before long, he caught the hamster. However, the hamster is not one to be trifled with either. He then bit Delta's finger. Delta was in agony. Seeing the hamster back with Kelly, Delta said, You forced me to this. The next second, Delta kept pulling the trigger and shooting at Kelly. However, he wasn't skilled. Not a single shot hit. Kelly managed to escape. But she didn't fare well either. She stumbled and hit the sharp corner of the stairs, which caused her particular pain. Her foot was also twisted. At that moment, I appeared in front of her. I showed her the hope to live. She yelled for Jaxwa. I immediately made a quiet gesture to her. I hid in the corner and observed. Delta shouted loudly, Bitch, get out of here! At this point, their villain's leader also caught his breath and followed. Delta said the bitch must have run to the 2nd floor, where Beta and Gma are. What should we do now? Villain's leader said. The sound of your gunshot must have alerted another person there. Beta and Gma must have heard it by now, but they haven't reacted. They are likely already dead. We can only go up and kill them. Jaxwa thought to himself. Not only we heard gunshots, but there are also zombies nearby. We can't waste time dealing with them like this. Jaxwa carried Kelly and fled to the 2nd floor. When they were about to reach the 2nd floor, 2 figures holding guns appeared in front of them. They were Beta and Gamma, who had just been knocked down by Jaxwa. Behind them, the villain's leader and Delta also caught up. Jaxwa was surrounded from front and back. The situation was not optimistic. I regret not taking care of the two people upstairs just now. Gamma was still yelling. The villain's leader said there are guns in the warehouse on the second floor. If we deal with them, we will make a fortune. The villain's leader looked at Jaxwa and said, "Kid, drop the gun. It's 4 against 2, you don't stand a chance." I have no choice but to reveal my ability. The next second, red light surrounded my right hand. Evolved tattoo slowly appeared. I shouted, "Go to hell!" When villain's leader called out, "Be careful, Beta." I have already jumped in front of him. But Beta looked at such a big person jumping over without any weapons. He excitedly shot at me. He just didn't expect that I could dodge in the air. Realizing the imminent danger, he hadn't reacted yet. The next second, he was struck full force by my punch right in the face. My name is Jaxwa. Just as Kelly and I were searching for weapons, we were surrounded by 4 strangers. At this point, I had already punched their Beta into the wall. Gma reacted and tried to shoot me from behind. I also kicked Gma down the stairs. He fell down. Gma, who fell down, just happened to block the villain's leader and Delta, who were trying to come up to help from below. They can only shoot and shout. You better pray you don't get caught by us. I arrived at a window. I asked Kelly to jump down from here to return to the car and hide. She hesitated to climb up so high. Seeing her dragging slowly, I said, "Close your eyes. When I count to 3, you jump down." At this point, the remaining 3 people had caught up. I said, 1, 2, 3, and then pushed Kelly down with one hand. Kelly was pushed down by me just like trash. Kelly kept cursing in foul language. I turned around and looked at the 3 approaching people. Evoke Ebola won't last long. Speed is key. I then raised my knife and charged towards the 3 people. They saw me coming and quickly started shooting. The bullets were all avoided by me with my ghostly agility. Under the terrified gaze of the villain's leader, I cut off his right hand holding the gun with one swing. Before he could react, I kicked him, sending him flying. He hit the wall and was left unconscious, with his fate unknown. Seeing this, Ma and Delta were eager to go up and check. I rushed over in an instant and stood in front of them. The next second, their 8 fingers holding guns flew out with blood. I held their necks, one in each hand. I said, "I don't like killing people, but this is your own doing." At the same time, a bunch of chaotic footsteps came from outside. I guess the zombie herd is here. I put down a line. "You make my hands dirty, perish on your own." Then I turned around without hesitation and left. The gunfire just now was too loud. It's not safe here anymore, because the zombie herd has arrived. I jumped out of the window. I was already surrounded by zombies. Ebola can last at most 1 minute, which should be enough. Just as I desperately hacked at the zombies rushing towards me, my arm felt a sharp pain. It's a backlash of Ebola. I didn't expect it to come so soon. Watching the continuously approaching zombie herd. Am I really going to die here? Just at this moment, suddenly a beam of light illuminated the night sky. It's the Mercedes we found. After hitting and sending several zombies flying, the one poking her head out of the car is Kelly. She said, "Jack, I didn't hold you back, did I?" I see the dawn at the moment of my death. All I can say is, Kelly did a great job. Before the zombie herd closes in, our car drove away quickly. At this time, Delta on the second floor shouted loudly. They ran away. Many zombies, we are surrounded. My name is Jaxwa. Just had a conversation with Kelly Luo about the ugliness between people in the apocalypse. Time comes to the early morning of the second day. Just awake, Kelly saw me who had almost finished 1,000 push-ups. This startled her. She asked me, "Are you human?" But I know this is far worse than before. If I didn't trigger Ebola last night, I could have done at least 1,000 more. Let's go. There's a gas station ahead. let's go there first and take a look. We drove to the gas station. I saw 2 steel pipes inserted behind the door. I thought there might be someone inside. I sensed it. There is indeed a living person inside. But I don't know if they are dead or alive. I can handle one person. I picked up the crowbar and hit hard. The glass door of the gas station shattered with a sound. As I walked in, I saw the clerk inside. At this point, he was barely clinging to life, leaning against the wall. When he saw someone coming in, he kept calling out, "Help me! Save me!" I was curious as to how he managed to stay alive. After asking, I found out that his injury was on his right hand. Looking over there, I saw a protruding object. Is this thing a meteorite? I slowly picked it out with a knife, and my guess was correct. This thing is a fragment of a meteorite from outer space. Kelly curiously asked what a fragment of a meteorite from outer space is. I wrapped the fragment with cloth and lifted it up. Patiently explain it. Do you remember the meteor shower from the other day? Humans turned into zombies. It was caused by fragments of those extraterrestrial meteorites. This is also the origin of the Ebola virus. The people who survived have a certain level of immunity. As long as people do not come into direct contact, there will be no problem. This can be a good thing. It will be very useful in the future. While we were chatting, I found that person had already stopped breathing. It's actually a miracle that he's held on until now. The person who was about to stop breathing had a twitch in his fingertips the next second. Kelly then said stupidly that he's still alive. I saw something was wrong and shouted at Kelly to move back. She quickly ran away as well. The man slowly stood up. He is a zombie directly infected by a meteorite. If I do nothing, he will evolve quickly. I appreciate that you helped me find something good, but I'm sorry. I put the gun into the zombie's mouth. With a bang, I killed him. I looked at the meteorite fragment in my hand. I really didn't expect my luck to be this good. In a previous life, a meteorite fragment could be sold for a high price. I'll put this thing away for now. I don't need it for now. I'm going to get gas. We need to fill up the whole car. Kelly is worried that having this thing nearby will cause an infection. I then continued to explain. Do you know who invented the virus-enhancing training I taught you? It was the first person to fuse meteorite fragments. Before humans fused with meteorite fragments. Humans can only complete up to 3 evolutions. After a human body completes 3 evolutions, they can withstand the energy in the meteorite fragments and assimilate it as their own. It seems that no one has discovered this yet. In my previous life, I never found a fragment until I died. Now, it's so easy to obtain one. I unexpectedly picked up a meteorite fragment that couldn't be bought with money in my previous life. This is the opportunity to break through the 3rd evolution in the future. At this moment, Kelly and I returned to the car dealership where Lucas Gao was. Seeing me, Lucas Gao said happily, "Jaxua, you're finally back." I noticed there was another girl behind me. He even asked, "Is this lady your sister-in-law?" I said, "Don't talk nonsense." Little did he know that Kelly was already angry at this point. The next second, Lucas Gao stepped on my foot. Lucas Gao screamed in pain. I said to remind you not to speak nonsense. Then I asked if someone had come over the past 2 days. He said, "No, it's been pretty quiet, and you said not to let anyone in." I remembered the 2 sisters, Sherry Luo. Have they not come, or have they already died? Go into the car dealership. Kelly and Lucas Gao exchanged names. At this moment, Lucas Gao asked me, "Haven't you found your sister-in-law?" I replied, "The city is too chaotic. It's not that easy." Now we are going to City G to find your parents. But you need to be prepared mentally. Normally optimistic Lucas Gao's eyes darkened at this moment. At night, the 2 were sound asleep. But I knew. This time's reborn. Zombie evolved much faster than the previous life. I need to make the most of every second. And when I triggered Ebola last time, I could feel it. Forcing the activation of Ebola at this stage will accelerate evolution. But the side effects are also very obvious. My injuries and weaknesses are all minor matters. The most important thing is that it will enhance the strength of the Ebola virus in the body. If my own resistance to the virus cannot keep up, I am very likely to get infected and even turn into a zombie. With the guidance of my breathing training, I finally managed to suppress the virus. It's best to use this move sparingly before reaching the third phase. But our biggest gain this time is the meteorite fragments. We have a total of 200 grams. Among us back then, only Abby had good luck. She fused a fragment weighing more than 100 grams. Listening to Lucas Gao sleep talk, I am ready to go to sleep. The next morning, they have not woken up yet. I have already gotten up to exercise. After finishing 3,000 push-ups, I woke them up. Next, I start distributing equipment and planning the route. Because Lucas Gao has never used a gun. Kelly, on the other hand, lacks arm strength. One self-defense handgun is enough. It can save your life at a critical moment. Lucas Gao is disgusted with a combat uniform for being too ugly. I said don't mind its ugliness, it can save your life at a critical moment, and remember to carry a dagger with you at all times. They both said in unison, "Got it." This little episode also lightened the atmosphere quite a bit. It is 900 kilometers from here to City G. It's estimated to take 12 hours by car. We just need to bypass City Chu, the largest city in the central part. If the initial infection rate is 70%, after a few days, City Chu's infection rate is expected to reach 80%. A city with a permanent population of 12 million. 80% infection rate would equate to 9.6 million zombies. It is unknown if these 9.6 million have evolved. City Chu is simply hell on earth. If we go around, it will add an extra 600 kilometers to the journey. Our car consumes a considerable amount of fuel. Hopefully, there will be gas stations along the way when we are driving. If we run out of gasoline, we will need to walk. We will spend 8 hours driving each day, with the remaining time for exercise and rest. If all goes well, we will arrive at City G the day after tomorrow. Before that, we must do one thing. Looking serious, both of them became more attentive. The next second, each person does 500 push-ups and 200 deep squats jumps. I'm adding gasoline while watching two people collapsed on the ground. You have all undergone virus-enhancing training. Why are you all so weak? Lucas Gao retorted indignantly. It's 500 of them. Kelly whispered quietly in his ear. He did 1,000 in front of me yesterday, and another 3,000 this morning. Lucas Gao was immediately dumbfounded. They finally had a common topic of conversation. My name is Jaxwa. At this moment, I am going to City G with Kelly Lua Lucas Gao. The purpose is to find the parents of Lucas Gao. Everything went smoothly along the way, until dusk. Because they got up early and exercised. They both slept soundly all the way on the road. After Lucas Gao woke up, he saw that I had been driving all day. He said he could drive and asked me to take a rest. He said he started disassembling his dad's car when he was 10 years old. I had to agree. I hadn't been asleep for long when a sudden emergency brake almost threw me out of the window. Kelly bumped her head against a bag. Angered, she asked Lucas Gao what was going on. Lucas Gao said that they were blocked by a car ahead. But at this moment, after hearing this, I immediately felt that something was wrong. Shouted out loudly, Lucas Gao, run quickly! So many cars here. It means there were once many people here. The sound of screeching brakes on top of that. Before Lucas Gao could react, we were surrounded by a group of zombies. I hurriedly shouted, Speed up! The car had no time to turn around, so it could only crash into the guardrail on the side. Unexpectedly, the car couldn't pick up speed at all. I said, Take the gun and get ready to fight. I crawled out of the car's sunroof. I wildly shot with 2 pistols. Kelly also shot from the passenger seat. Just too many zombie herds. Our firepower is insufficient. At this moment, Lucas Gao shouted loudly, "There's a ditch ahead. What should we do?" I said, "Charge forward." He said, "Are you crazy? If we fall in, it's all over." I said, "Can't worry about that now. We have to take a chance." He said, "Okay." The speedometer is now over 160. The next second, the car suddenly flew into the air. The impact force when the car landed caused a strong shock. I almost passed out from the impact. But with God's blessing, we are safe. At this moment, from the skylight above me, I saw a village not far away. Lucas Gao, who stepped on the gas pedal twice without a response, got out of the car and said, "It seems like there is a problem with the car that needs fixing. It looks like we can only camp nearby for one night today. I suggest we go to the village ahead and take a look tonight." Just as we approached the village, I felt something was off about it. It's too quiet. There isn't even the sound of zombies. We almost lost our lives just now. But now we are temporarily safe. I found a village not far away. But this village is really strange. There is not a sound to be heard. Immediately, I chambered a round in my handgun. Suddenly, I heard a sound nearby. I immediately pointed the gun towards the direction of the sound. I heard someone say, "Don't shoot! I am a living person." I said to put down the stick and turn around. I am ready to step forward to search the body. Lucas Gao interrupted at this time and said, "Jack, forget it. He should be a good person." I immediately rolled my eyes at him. Having experienced an apocalypse, I know that sometimes humans can be scarier than zombies. So I asked, "Are you the only one here in the village, or are there others?" His name is Mark Ding. He runs a small convenience store here to get by. The adults go out to work. The children go to school during the day. The ones staying in the village are mostly elderly people. Kelly and Lucas Gao happily asked, "Is it convenient for us to stay at your place for one night?" Mark Ding also responded happily and agreed. I whispered to Lucas Gao, "I think forget it. Since there aren't many people in the village, let's just find a random house to stay in, so as to not disturb anyone." They immediately became displeased and said to me, "They were just being kind. Why not appreciate it?" I had no choice but to agree. Lucas Gao also put his arm around my shoulder and said to Mark Ding, "This is my friend, Jack Zwa." We entered the house. Mark Ding treated us to a sumptuous feast. Lucas Gao and Kelly couldn't help but salivate at the sight. During the meal, Mark Ding also brought out some wine, hoping that we would have some. At this moment, I remembered Abby, whose whereabouts were unknown. I wonder if there is still a fate for me to meet Abby again. Thinking of this, I, who didn't want to drink to stay sober, finished the drink in one gulp. Not long after, we got drunk. Lucas Gao said, "I'm not drunk. Help me support the road ahead." I said, "Now I can punch a group of zombies to death." Kelly must be working hard. Throw us onto the bed. Mark Ding asked Kelly, "I can't believe you can drink so well even though you're not tall." Kelly replied embarrassedly, "I poured all the alcohol into the other cup." After hearing this, Mark Ding's face turned dark, saying, "I see. You guys rest well. I won't disturb you anymore." Unexpectedly, Mark Ding turned out to not be a good person. Mark Ding pushed open a door to a room. Coming towards them was a scent that made it hard to breathe. Every tool here is stained with blood. The next second, he put on gloves, originally planning to knock out these guys and then kill them. I didn't expect Kelly to disrupt the plan. He thought the guy with the gun was very powerful. The tranquilizer had little effect on him. And he also has a gun. Mark Ding said. Forget it, Wendy must be hungry. Let's go bring her some food first. This little girl wandered into the slaughterhouse of the strange Shaotai. Here, they slaughter not livestock, but humans. Thinking of the meat she had just eaten for dinner, she felt the terrifying nature of humans in the apocalypse for the first time. My name is Jaxwa, and the time is that same evening. Lucas Gala is fast asleep, snoring loudly, making it difficult for Kelly Luo to fall asleep. Kelly, angry, kicked him, but Lucas Gala just turned over and kept on sleeping. Helpless, Kelly went downstairs to pour a glass of water and drank it. She smelled a faint scent of blood downstairs. Kelly curiously pushed open the door. What met her eyes and stimulated her nostrils made her freeze. She thought it smelled very strongly of blood. It was like a slaughterhouse. She found a refrigerator standing quietly there. Curiosity made her involuntarily approach and open it. The next second, she was looking at the meat stored inside. Instantly made her want to vomit. Kelly said, "The food we just ate wouldn't be human flesh, right?" At this moment, a voice sounded from behind, replying to her. "The food I gave you to eat is pork." Mark Ding said, "I was hesitating on whether to let you go. It seems there's no need to hesitate now." Kelly was shocked at this moment. She had forgotten to bring her gun, which was in her bag. She picked up a kitchen knife from the table and shouted loudly, "Don't come any closer." Mark Ding said, "Kelly, do you think you can beat me?" Kelly said, "We both have knives, so who will live and who will die is still uncertain." Jack's virus-enhancing training is indeed useful. If it were before, I couldn't have held on to this knife for so long. But he also has a knife. I don't have Jack's skills. Kelly then threw the knife away. The kitchen knife flew towards Mark Ding like lightning. But it was dodged by Mark Ding. However, Kelly anticipated his move. Then she punched between Mark Ding's legs. Kelly looked at Mark Ding. Mark Ding could only roll on the ground in pain. Kelly took the opportunity to escape. As she was walking out, she thought, "No, Lucas Gao and Jack are still upstairs. I need to lead this guy away." At this moment, Mark Ding endured the pain and chased out. He shouted, "I'm going to kill you!" Kelly, seeing this, ran in the opposite direction towards the upstairs. In the blink of an eye, she arrived at a downward staircase. Upon entering, Kelly discovered another person tied up all over. Thinking the person was also a victim, she quickly approached and said, "Are you okay? I am not working with Mark Ding." But before she could finish speaking, Kelly Luo saw the zombie tied up in the basement. She was so scared that she kept backing away. She didn't know what tripped her. When she looked, she found a gnawed limb. Kelly discovered that Mark Ding was actually raising zombies here. At the same time, Mark Ding also appeared at the door. Kelly immediately hid. After Mark Ding searched around, he found no one. He then began to sweet talk with Zombie. "Wendy is sorry. I have kept you locked up here all this time. I will come to see you often." He suddenly saw Kelly's shadow. He shouted out. Kelly knew she had been exposed. She said, "You freak, feeding zombies here." He said, "This is my wife." Kelly said, "Wake up, she's already dead." Mark Ding said, "She's not dead, she can move, run, and eat. Actually, she hasn't had fresh food for several days. Just use you to change my wife's appetite." Seeing this, Kelly wanted to kick towards his legs again. However, Mark Ding was already prepared. He dodged to the side, then caught Kelly. He said, "Today, I must use you to feed my wife." When he was about to strike Kelly with a knife, the next second, he suddenly heard a gunshot. The bullet hit his knife. I thought to myself, it didn't hit me. It seems like my body hasn't fully recovered yet. appearing as me. Kelly saw that the person approaching was me, and she shouted loudly, "Jaxwa, save me!" Mark Ding grabbed Kelly and threatened me. "Put down the gun, or I will kill her." I said I also have a hostage. After saying that, I pointed the gun at his zombie wife. After thinking for a moment, everyone reached a consensus. They exchanged hostages. However, an unexpected event occurred. Bandages wrapped around zombie Wendy, eroded by the long-term dampness in this dark room, snapped by the force of zombie Wendy, while Mark Ding was still in a daze. Kelly fiercely bit his arm. He broke free and ran towards me. Since I was no longer constrained, I immediately fired at the zombie. Mark Ding unexpectedly stood in front of the zombie. The bullet hit his chest, but despite the bleeding, his concern was whether the zombie was injured. However, the zombie no longer recognized the man who loved him. The next second, it bit Mark Ding on the neck. I killed both of them when I saw this scene. This can also be considered as giving them a good ending. Zombies don't have feelings. Let's go! On the way back, Kelly said emotionally, "Why did the world become like this? If there was no apocalypse, then Mark Ding should have been a man who loves his wife and has a happy family, right? If there was no apocalypse. You're also good, as well as Lucas Gao. Now, we are all studying diligently at school. I understand. But we must accept the fact that the apocalypse is coming. Kelly, you must remember. The only truth left in this world is that you must do your best to survive." In the morning, we started repairing the vehicle. To put it simply, it was actually Lucas Gao who was doing the repairs alone. We were just watching from the side. Kelly asked, "Are you doing a good job with the repairs?" Lucas Gao replied, "I could take apart my dad's car when I was 10 years old." Kelly said, "But you didn't say if you could put it back together." At this moment, Lucas Gao looked up to say something, but he saw Kelly's hemline and suddenly didn't know what he wanted to say. Kelly noticed this situation as well. She punched him in the face. I watched them playfully roughhousing. I felt that since I advanced to first phrase, I haven't made much progress. It seems like I've been too comfortable recently. Just as I was thinking about it, Lucas Gao fixed the car. He even said, "Just give me the tools, I can dismantle your tank." I thought to myself, having such a talented person nearby in the apocalypse could really reduce a lot of trouble. I wasted a lot of time yesterday. Let's get going. Before long, we arrived at a gas station. Looking around, there were not many first-phrase zombies wandering nearby. Lucas Gao shrugged and suggested that we should go around and take a different route. I looked firmly at Lucas Gao and said, "This is a treasure trove, as we can both refuel and exercise here." Lucas Gao felt uneasy. He said, "Why are you looking at me like that?" I replied, "It's nothing, just had a sudden idea." The next second, I equipped Lucas Gao with 2 large machetes. Lucas Gao asked, "Are you really going to do this?" I said that to evolve quickly, one must experience high-intensity battles. Kelly said, "You're a grown man. What are you afraid of?" I didn't wait for her to finish. I threw a gun to her and said, "Hold this and let's go together." Kelly is thinking about dying. But watching first phrase zombie, she still feels quite confident. But she turned around and saw that I was holding the gun up high. I said, "Remember to stay alive." Then I fired a shot. The nearby zombies are all attracted to us here. At the same time, in a village house not far away, a zombie with a skeletal body is growing. It has 3 spikes growing 50 centimeters out of its back. Its eyes are glowing red. This is a sign of evolution. Go back to Lucas Gao and Kelly. At this moment, they are standing on a car constantly dealing with a wave of corpses flying towards them. Lucas Gao asked how many more are there. Kelly replied, "I don't know." Just at that moment, a zombie sneaked up from behind and attacked Lucas Gao. In a desperate situation, he barely managed to defend himself. He shouted to Kelly for help. Even though Kelly agreed verbally, she actually had no time. Emergency moment. I fired a shot. The zombie's head exploded. I, on the other hand, leisurely drank a beverage on the roof of the gas station. I said, "Watch what I'm doing." In battle, being distracted could be fatal. Thanks to the unremitting efforts of Lucas Gao and Kelly, the zombie herd in this area has finally been completely dealt with. They are also exhausted and have no energy left. But this is the most effective time to practice breathing training. Of course they are not willing. They said this is torturing them. I told them that we should continue to kill zombies. They are even more unwilling now. They had no choice but to start breathing training. They watched Kelly gather the evolved tattoo. Just like Hans, he was a speedster evolver. But Lucas Gao still hasn't figured out the direction of evolution up to now. Could it be that his evolved tattoo is gathering elsewhere? Do the sleep talk he muttered represent his direction of evolve? The next moment, I felt the house nearby, so to be on the safe side, I planned to go take a look first. My name is Jaxwa. I just ran into Lucas Gao and Kelly Luo at the gas station. But suddenly I felt palpitations. It made me have to go to the nearby village house. Before I could even go in, I smelled a strong smell of blood outside the house. I cautiously pushed open the door and walked in. What met my eyes were limbs scattered all over the floor, just as I was about to further explore. Suddenly, there was a howling sound behind me. I turned back disdainfully, thinking it was probably just a second Fraser zombie. But before I could see clearly, I was punched by a fist the size of a sandbag and sent flying out of the window. I rolled on the ground several times to dissipate the force. I stood up slowly with blood spilling from my mouth. I immediately prepared for battle upon realizing it was a zombie. It is a special evolved breed in the loner zombie's second phrase. This type of zombie prefers to act alone. However, its combat power is strong and not easy to deal with. The next moment, it threw a punch at me. I leaped high into the air. Looking at where I had originally stood, the ground was cracked by its punch. If I had taken that punch head-on just now, I would have definitely been smashed to death. I thought to myself, I can't win head-on. I'll hit him in the back. I used the pillar in the air as a fulcrum point, launching myself towards the back of Loner Zombie. Loner Zombie has immense strength, but he is slow in his movements. Before he could turn around, I had already cut off the 3 spikes on his back with one slash. It's a pity that no matter how slow he is still a second-rate zombie. Just as I was thinking about quickly creating some distance, he turned around and threw a punch at me. In front of him, I felt like a child being bullied by an adult. The dagger blocking in front of me was shattered with one blow. Looking at me on the ground, he walked towards me. I have no chance of winning at all. Just when I felt like I was about to die, suddenly, the sound of gunshots rang out. The bullets hit Loner Zombie so hard that he was writhing in pain. Immediately, he roared in anger, seeing a figure in the distance through the mist. It's Lucas Gao. He was holding a smoking gun in both hands. He said, "Surprised, huh?" At this moment, seeing Loner Zombie about to charge at me again, Lucas Gao quickly shouted for Jack to dodge. I was surprised that every shot hit the head from such a far distance. I shot the Loner Zombie, and it couldn't do anything. I also said to Lucas Gao, Lucas's weakness is his temple. He said he will help me find an opportunity. Immediately, I used such a big granite stone and smashed it towards Loner Zombie, loudly saying that I am here.